Last time I talked to you about a no-name webcam that I was not much impressed with. This time I want to talk to you a little bit about making a modification to a webcam that is really pretty good. It's one of the webcams that's highly recommended for content creators, at least for entry-level cameras. And it's the one I've been using for quite a while now. It's the Logitech c920. And I have actually two of them. A previous video, besides the one I just mentioned, I talked about making a recording appliance for the 501c3 with which I'm affiliated. And for the application that they're using it for, it needed a little bit of adjustment. The webcam is really ideal at the distance where I am right now, which is about 1 foot from the camera. It is pretty good out to about 4 or 5 feet, which would be back to that background or a little bit further back. If you want to view anything further, you need to make a little bit of adjustment on this webcam. Some people have called it nearsighted. Well, I've been nearsighted my whole life and have worn glasses since about the 3rd grade. And that's one possibility. Put a corrective lens in front of it. And some people have talked about doing that very thing with this camera. There are ways of doing that. There's another way of doing it, which means you don't have to buy a thing. You just have to open up the camera. And I'm going to show you that technique in this video. You'll find others who have done it as well. And let me show you first what you're going to need in order to do it. So I'm going to point the camera down. You'll need some small Phillips screwdrivers. What I have here is a 00 Phillips and an O Phillips. You'll want something with which to pry the pads off the bottom. A pocket knife will do. You'll want some pliers. And I have a variety of electronic pliers that I have obtained over the years. And these are the two that I think are most useful in this situation. But whatever you have really can be made to work. One more thing that you're going to want is what people have called a spudger. And how it got that name, I have no idea. But I have a couple different sizes of them. Now let's put them down here. Since it's a blue background, this may help them show up a little bit. A couple different sizes of them. And so those will help you open the case. Not essential, but they're very helpful. So those are the tools that I'm recommending for this task. And so I'll show you exactly what I did, and then I'm going to show you the before and after results from it. What I'm showing you here is the bottom of the camera. And I'm going to talk you through it. On the bottom of the camera, there are a couple of pads that need to be removed. Now, some will say that they're 2 layers. I think it's actually 1 layer, and if you try to remove it in 2 layers, you're going to take a chance on damaging the rubber layer, the rubber layer of that pad. So, okay. So there's the location of the pads on either side of the camera. And you just have to get your knife or another tool in under the edge of that pad and get all the way under it is my recommendation, and remove the rubberized section and the plastic backing all in one, rather than trying to take it off in two layers, because that rubberized section will tear if you try to pull it on its own. That's the best results in my experience. Removal of the pad as a whole. Now on each side of the camera there are two screws, as I'm trying to show you here, and both of those screws on each side need to be removed. This little casing is very well put together. It snaps together and is a tight unit even without these screws, but the screws do prevent those microphone covers from coming off. I'm recommending the 00 Phillips for this. It's one of the fine screws, and so you need a fine pointed Phillips for it. So once you have those 4 screws removed, then you'll need the spudgers in order to help remove those microphone covers. You can get your fingernail in under it to get it started, but then you need something with a little bit of leverage in order to snap the case apart. Like I said, it's a very well put together case, and I don't think it really needs the screws in order for it to do its job and stay together. This is probably the most fiddling part of it, getting those microphone covers to separate from the rest of the case. Once you've got the first one, you'll have confidence getting the second one, and it'll come just a bit easier. So on the inside, on either side of that protective lens cover, you'll find 2 more screws. And again, you'll need the 00 Phillips. Just pull those 4 screws. They are a different length. Keep them separate from the outer screws. So once you have those 4 screws out, that protective cover just lifts right off, and you have access to the lens. The lens is mounted into that board with a screw mount, and by screwing it 1/4 to 1/3 of a turn in, you can change the distance at which the camera is focused, moving it outward, and that's what I'm doing. I'm actually turning it 1/3 of a turn in order to make it focus further away. Then just reverse the steps, put the cover back on. Pro tip, start your screws first, all of them, before tightening them down. Most cases it won't matter, but sometimes you tighten one down without getting the other started, and you'll have a misalignment problem. So after you've got all of the screws tightened, just snap those microphone covers back on. And clean your lens and you're ready to go. Okay, so that shows you the process for making this adjustment to the Logitech C920. Whether other cameras you can do that with, I do not know. I just know that this is the process for this particular camera. And I'd like to show you the results. I'll show you a clip from before and then another clip from after, and allow you to compare them. You'll see the difference. You'll also notice that the focus is still a little bit soft, but it's definitely better for the particular use to which it is being put. So there you have it, an easy, no-cost mod you can do to your Logitech C920, and you can play with it a little bit to get different focus ranges, and I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching.